Yo, what's up, everybody? Keith, happy birthday, brother. Good morning. Thanks for being in already, Brutus. Good morning. The deuce is loose today, guys. Found him, tracked him down. He was like fucking tracking the Yeti down. I knew he existed, just didn't know where to look, but I found him.
How's the cigar world out there?
The OG co-host. Cigar world's good, man. Cigar good. George, what's up, Georgie Poo? Yeah, Cigar World's good, man. A lot of great cigars come out this year. I don't know if you've been kind of keeping track or trying some of the newer stuff, but it's been a good year for cigars.
Yeah, I was wondering how this hurricane going through Havana. Although I know it's I know it doesn't affect us immediately, but when Havana tobacco goes, they've got to get it from someplace.
Right.
So where's the next possible place? The Dominican. So
yeah.
Hopefully it's not going to raise our prices.
George said, "Who that dude? What's up, Robert? I'm smoking another George special today, guys. La Galleria. I have no idea about this cigar, George. Anything you can tell me? LA space GALERA. La Galleria. Man, whatever. You know, I don't speak English other than any language. I don't know what it is, but it just lit it up. Georgie Poo. It's one of them ones you sent me right there. This is free jam. Jimmy the Deuce. This is the Barrel Burners historian who hasn't historied in a while.
I haven't historied in a while. No, I have not. Those are some pretty damn good stories.
This is the first guy to be patched live. Happened in New Orleans. He was also the first guy to be handed their 50 patch in person before he moved away. Cuba already imports more than anyone else. George says it's good. Okay. Is that the brand? I couldn't figure out the brand name. What's up, Donnie? Good morning, brothers. Jeff would not be with us today. Jeff was driving to the airport to get on a plane to hit Florida for La Zona Palooza this week. So that's the brand name. Okay. Yeah, La Galleria, whatever. I ain't even going to attempt it. Robert tried another My Father's cigar. Very nice. I had a My Father. Been a while. I stopped by a little shop here in town and got, they had the Judge in there, which is one of my favorites.
Oh.
Grabbed the Judge and partook in it. But My Father's always solid, Robert. George, when do you leave out for the Palooza, brother? Which one did you light up, James? Room 101 or Big Sky?
I went with the Farce.
The Farce Nicaragua.
And having some free reign Texas pecan coffee.
Oh my goodness.
Now I know you love the community pecan.
Yeah.
This is like 20 times better.
Well, and I haven't really drank that in probably a year. I found a new love, man. Snickers coffee.
Snickers coffee is good.
Yeah, I bounce between that and the Cinnabon cinnamon roll coffee is what I'm drinking now. I bounce a lot between those two now. And then, of course, the Cafe Bustelo. I do a lot of Cafe Bustelo. But that reminded me, I haven't tried pecan in a while. I'm going to have to pick up one for the office.
You need to grab one of those. It's not my daily drinker. It's my weekend drinker. So okay. I have my regular, what I get through. And then they've also got a spicy that's got cayenne pepper in it that smells incredible, but it's got a little bit of a bite afterwards.
Interesting. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Donnie, did you mean Pravada or Bravada? And I had a Kathy Maduro last night. First time I had the Maduro, and I actually really enjoyed that. I picked that up at the shop as well. All right, Rob. Have a good day, buddy. Yeah, I got 3 cigars in yesterday, and then I finished the night with the Espinosa Marron. Not the well, I mean it is Espinosa, but Black Star Lines Marron that Espinosa blended for them for their 5-year anniversary, and I love that cigar. I was really wanting a Espinosa Sumatra yesterday, and I bought 2 boxes when they dropped, and I cannot believe I dug for 10, 15 minutes. I dug through all 3 humidors. I'm out of them motherfuckers. Apparently, I smoked both boxes and didn't even realize it. so I was pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm craving Espinosa Sumatra today. And yep, nowhere to be found. Because my big Remington humidor has died. I have to bury it. I know. It was a sad day, man. We had a storm, and I guess I had a power surge. But it fried that motherfucker. So it's sitting right there empty. I got to haul it off to my dumpster or something. Thought about making a whiskey cabinet out of it.
That would make a pretty cool whiskey cabinet.
Because it pull out drawers and everything. I would have to run internal lights again because it fried the power supply. I changed every fuse I could find in it. I changed, and it won't power on. Nothing will work. So I thought about drilling a hole in the back, running some of the thin LED strips, then making it my liquor cabinet. I would just have to adjust the top shelf, or I could keep it because it's slanted, but the other ones are flat. I don't know. It was a sad day, man. So I had to buy another new air. So now I got 3 damn new airs just sitting here, 2 right behind me on top of each other. I was sad. I was going to buy a new Remington. I was looking at the prices and then how much they charge shipping because they send it to you in like a fucking 18-wheeler. I mean, it's on a pallet and they come out with forklifts and then I seen they had a new air now that's like a 1200 count. And I was like, I will try that one for half the price. And that's what I did. That is what I did, Deuce. So catch us up on Deuce Land. Any good mafia books you read? Any mafia movies? What we into these days other than writing when you have time?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm into the second book, but
oh wait. So I missed that earlier. You've started writing a second book already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what was the first book? Last time I talked to you, it was sent for proofing or something, and you were waiting to hear back from all that.
Yeah, I did. I did some beta readers and then started sending it out to publishing companies.
Okay.
Then had a little bit of a job hiccup, so I had to shelve it. And then after we did that, we bought a house and we moved, and so I was telling Amy this past week, I'm like, I'm ready to write again. If things are getting back down, I'm turning the garage into a man cave, so I'll have a little bit of a area out there where I can write again. But
you're going to do what I did, turn the garage to a man cave, and it works.
You know great.
It. That's what I did when we bought this house. I said, wife, I don't want this house, but if you want it, I'm taking the garage.
That's it.
Well, that's awesome, man. I keep waiting because I'm ready for my signed copy of that first book. I can't wait. Yes, Jimmy is still in South Carolina, George. George says, how are you enjoying South Carolina?
You know what? We really love it here. I haven't swung a golf club since I've been here, which was part of the reason to move to Myrtle Beach.
Blasphemy. I'm on my way.
I know. It just
springtime.
It really sucks.
I'm making a trip to see you springtime.
And the sucky part is I got a golf course probably a mile and a half to the east, and then just down from where I work there's a little 9-hole.
One of the nighttime playing ones?
No, just one of the
a 9-hole. Okay.
9-hole that's like a little par 3.
Yeah.
So, 7-iron and under.
Very nice. We have one of those here in our town. It's 9 holes. They're all par 3, and the course is it's pushing 100 years old. It was built right next to our historic baseball field. So it's a real cool thing. They completely restored it. The city owns it. But you'll go out there, man. You got to watch yourself. You'll get killed because that's where everybody goes to learn golf, and there are fucking golf balls flying at you from all directions. You will literally lose a life out there.
Get your Kevlar helmet.
Yeah, Rob, I have not done the Ybor Mafia tour, but it's on my list for next time I go for sure.
I know, man. I started getting stuff for Ybor. What was it, December 8th?
Yeah.
And God, man, I still never have done it the way I wanted to do it either. You know, stay and do the trip and everything through it.
Well, my problem every time I go to Ybor, it's normally I fly in on a Friday and I'm leaving on a Sunday. I don't have time for nothing other than the hangouts in between.
Yeah.
The wife texted me this week because she seen Brandon post he was going to be in Ybor. She goes, "You should go." I go, "I know I wanted to go this year, but we were supposed to be going to Universal for Halloween week. Well, the hurricane hit and we had to move it, and we moved it to Christmas week. So I'm already going to be in Florida for a week for Christmas."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I'm not doing Heritage Festival. That's just, I'm already, that's too much. I'll shoot next year." So now I'm shooting.
I saw that he was going to be there. So
yeah, I'm shooting to do
we'll
PCA.
Do that. We'll Christmas 2025. We'll take a couple extra days and we'll go down early and
we'll do the Mafia tour and
the tobacco tours and
and I might be I'm going to try to do PCA in the springtime. It's in New Orleans again, first time in more than a decade. So
wow.
I'm going to try to do that, maybe put a little mini meetup together. That is a great book to read, Keith. There are several good Mafia books.
Which one?
Back over there. The Tampa Mafia.
Yeah.
Keith will be at the Heritage Festival. Well, since you've been MIA, Keith has moved from California all the way to Florida and retired. So he did cross-country moving. One coast to the next. So now he is a Floridian.
Hell, I'm still having a hard time with this Eastern Standard Time.
That's why I asked you last night. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's an hour ahead of me.
Yeah.
I gave you so short notice. I was like, this may be too early for his old ass. And I was like, nah, that's my normal time I used to do on 10 a.m. George, how old would you say this cigar is you gave me, man? This is a quick burning cigar for sure. All right. So is your second book you're working on, is it like a sequel to the first, or you're going a totally different route, James?
No, it's a totally different route. And it's a character that if I were ever to build on, it would be this primary character.
Yeah.
But that's always, if things were to go and stuff. But it'll let's just say because I was a little cryptid on the first book on exactly how it goes and what it is, but I can tell you with certainty this one's about Bigfoot.
Okay. And does he have an OnlyFans?
He does have an OnlyFans.
Nice.
I'll add some pictures to it.
He's got to show feet pictures. Got to.
Man, you've been around Matt Booth too much to be showing feet.
That's good, man. I can't wait. Like I said, I've been on pins and needles, ready to read that first one.
I think setting on the first one, there's a few things I'm going to go back and change just to make it flow in my head just a little bit better
before it goes to publication.
Yeah, and then start with publishing houses again and see what I can get a hold of. In fact,
exciting and just stressful situation all at the same time. Yay, I wrote my first book, but now I got to sit and wait somebody to pick up my book. I did
forever and ever. Yeah.
And then one day your book could be a fucking movie. I mean, it's just so much can happen with writing a book. It's just.
Oh, yeah.
It could be life-changing in a matter of the day it hits the shelves, your life could be changed forever. You never know.
So every time I read a book these days, I'm looking at it, who's publishing it. I'm like, this is my kind of book. This would be my kind of publisher. And
that's smart.
So
especially if your book is anywhere near what that is, then you're like, they publish the same type of material I'm reading.
Yeah.
This will be one to reach out to. Very nice. Robert Walton is related to Robert E. Lee Chansey. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, I got a couple different books. I'm trying to think what the titles were about the Tampa Mafia. Yeah, it's pretty good, George. It smokes like an older cigar. It's super fast burning and kind of not as strong. Maybe like it's lost a little of its pop, but you could kind of tell it probably had some pop to it, kind of, if that makes any sense. Man, I can't believe how. Which I can understand it because golf is boring by yourself, but to live as close to all the golf courses you are and haven't swung a golf club in like what has it been? 2 years, 3 years since you moved?
Yeah,
3 years at least.
Yeah, three full years. We're starting our 4th year here. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. To not swing a golf club when we were playing once or twice a month while you were here.
Yeah, constantly.
Oh.
And the first thing was, when we moved and I was working from home, you just don't get out and really get to meet anybody.
Right.
And now I'm working with a bunch of guys that a couple of the younger guys golf.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are, they're aircraft mechanics, so that's what they've been doing all their life, and
they're laborers. They don't know about golf.
They just know how to keep them planes in the air.
Yeah, they went out and got a job. They didn't have time for golf.
Exactly.
They've been working since they were 14. Yeah.
Chase little white balls around.
But listen, on a positive note, think of the money you saved not upgrading your clubs or buying golf balls weekly after losing them all.
I swear to God. Between you and Havens, just constantly buying golf clubs, I was this close.
Man. Yeah, it's definitely, and every year a new driver comes out and you think that's going to fix everything. And it gets you.
Hey, but the good thing about golfing with you was it'd be, you'd buy that new driver and swing it once and it broke. And I'm like, don't want that one.
Yep.
Broke. Don't want that one.
Dude, after you left and I had hand surgery and my swing got so off. I broke 4 drivers in a year.
Oh.
They would explode. Like the whole faceplate would pop off the top. Like that tournament we were in where you see that one break. I did that 4 times within a 6-month period, man. Thankfully, they warranted all of them. I just send out the warranty. They send me a new one. It was crazy. I went to the local pro, swung a few times. He's like, Jason, I don't know what the fuck you doing. He said, let me research it. He couldn't even figure out. It's just everything. Wow. It was like I had to basically learn to swing again. It's crazy. Okay, George. So it was never a powerhouse. I could tell it's got complexity, but I was like, I wonder if this hit harder when it was newer. Little Pepper on the retro. Yeah, I get the creamy smoke for sure. Yeah, you definitely saved money, and then you lost your taste buds, so that saved you on cigars for a little while.
Saved on cigars, yeah.
So shit, y'all should have bought a mansion. All that money you saved.
I tell you what. When I had to get off of smoking, that was my favorite monthly cigar coming in, and they were just piling and piling and piling, and it's like I'd get one out, and sometimes I'd just stick it in my mouth, and it was like, nope. So it messed up my taste kind of all around, and some things just never have gotten the taste back right. So
how did that affect your eating though? That had to be horrible food wise.
Yeah, but I figured out that donuts still taste the same, and chocolate cake still tasted the same. So I survived.
And now you can eat shit that you've always hated because you can't taste it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, asparagus, sure, why not?
Asparagus ain't bad. I like the way my wife cooks asparagus, but yeah, get you
If
some
it's grilled and it's nice and crunchy, I like it.
I can do it grilled, but she has a way to do it in the oven, and she takes puts her seasoning all on the top of it and sprinkles some cheese and puts it in the oven, and it crisps up and that cheese melts on all top of it, and that's good. I can eat it that way.
The first
But
time I ever had
asparagus is like Brussels sprouts. If they're not cooked right,
oh no,
no, can't
no.
do it.
And my first time to eat asparagus was my ex mother-in-law. The first time I ate at their house, and she opened a can of asparagus, and you know those things are just like wet noodles.
I would have
And
been like, nope.
I sat there and you know had my first few. You want more? You sure ate those quick. And I'm like, okay.
A can, wow.
Yeah.
I've had potatoes, chunks of potatoes out of a can, and you can salvage those and make those good. But I could not imagine eating asparagus like a fucking can of green beans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just disgusting. They just sit there and soaked up all that juice, and they will never crisp up.
No, never.
Oh my goodness. I got something for you. I know we're in the same wheelhouse of movies and things we like, and we like treasure hunting stuff. I got hooked on a Netflix show, and I basically binge watched 4 seasons this week. My brother's been on my ass, and you may have already seen it. My brother's been on my ass for a year to watch Outer Banks. It's a Netflix original show. It's in the Carolinas.
Oh no, I've heard about it, but I've never watched it.
Dude, it's this group of high school kids, and it's about treasure hunting. I fucking sit down, and I started season 1 last Friday morning. I watched all 4 seasons in 1 week's time. It's 10 episodes a season, and they got one more season coming out, and it'll finish. Dude, I couldn't stop. It's like fucking, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like Indiana Jones. It's more like the Nicolas Cage one, where you follow the clues. They'll find one piece of treasure, or they'll find the book, and then they got to follow the clues off of that to the next and to the next. Yeah, it's definitely, you're gonna have to check that out because you like the same shit I like, and I literally
I just thought that was kind of a North Carolina 90210.
No, and it's not, and it's mature audience. It's not made for kids. I mean, it's adult language. It's murdering. It's everything. It is legit. Like I said, when I say binge watch a show, it's like I did for first season of Tulsa King. It's like I can't get up. Life cannot exist no more until I finish every episode. It is crazy, and it's good, and there's some nice eye candy in it too that helps.
All right.
The plot, as I call it. I love watching it for the plot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to check that out. That was good because I was trying to think of what I've seen recently that may be a good show for you. But that is a damn good show.
Yeah, Oak Island should be coming back on.
It's this month.
Fairly soon, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the second or third. No, was it like the 16th or 18th or
the 18th is what was coming to mind.
Yeah. I want to say the 16th, 18th, or 19th is stuck out in my head. I'll have to look on the date of which one falls on that week, but I'm excited. So I follow this group. There's this guy on Facebook that has an Oak Island group. It just popped up in my suggested one day, but he lives right across from the island. So every day he posts pictures of the island from his view and the machines that are coming in and out the island. And he gives you like, well, this is new. I've never seen this machine or this and this. And he just posts pictures. He gets out there in his kayak and just posts pictures from outside the island and like, well, they're moving equipment again today. This left some big container left. Some's coming in. So it's interesting to see it from that view. All right, Robert, have a good one, buddy.
I've always wondered what their distance was out in the bay, because every now and then, they'll show a couple of boats lined up out there, and I've heard them say before that when they're out there doing diving and stuff, they've got boats to keep people away. But it's like, I'd be like this guy. Yeah, you're on the water. I'd jump in my boat and sit there and
You
Take as
could
many pictures as I
literally,
could.
legally, probably pull your boat up right to their land, as long as you don't step feet on their land. I mean, they don't own the water; they don't own the coastline. But they got to have armored guards work that year round.
But I wondered, because when they built that
observation room or whatever, their little museum that people can come to on the island, they make money from that.
When they built that cofferdam, they went so far out, and it's like, okay, well, if they can do that, of course, I know they had to get some permission too. Yeah.
Then they took it back down once they seen what they want, I'm sure. I doubt it could stay up blocking the flow. But yeah, I mean, at this point where the world knows about it, there's 24/7 guards on duty. They ain't letting people just come walk willy-nilly on the island. And from what I've read, that there are people, even during the bad winter months, there's workers still on the island doing stuff.
Yeah.
So even though they're not filming, they do have crews that are staying there and making sure things aren't getting messed up, or doing what they can do with or without snow. And so they're constantly plugging along. But I guarantee you, they don't show them on film. I guarantee you there's armed security.
Oh, yeah.
On that island. Because they pretty much own the whole island now. They own everything but like 2 or 3 plots.
Right.
They're buying it up, everybody's stuff. Probably giving them a percentage. If we ever find anything, you can get a 1% cut on top of what we paid you for your land, It's crazy, man. The story that island is telling now, just like Casey's like, you watch that shit, they ain't never going to find nothing. I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck what they find. I'm a history guy, and what they've already uncovered, I just want to know what the hell happened on the island.
What went on there,
And I'm like, you're wrong. They have found treasure. They find treasure every day with a metal detector.
Yeah.
Just not the big treasure. I'm like, I want to know, why are these roads here? There was no reason to have construction. And then last season they found those circular mounds, like they had little forts in places.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what all this is. Were they shooting cannons from here? What is all this?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the one thing that's always stood out to me was when they went to Rosslyn Chapel.
Yes.
And they were showing them some reliefs that were carved in when Rosslyn was built, and they're like, what's that look like? And they're like, corn? Yeah, well, corn doesn't grow in Europe. Not back then. Not when Rosslyn was built. It's from the Americas. And it was just kind of like oh, holy shit. Where'd that come from then? There had to be
the carving when they went to all the other places to look, and you find the same carvings all the way back over there. Like last season, they found like a general's button or something off his vest, and they were like, "Why would he be over here?" I mean,
right? Yeah, because that takes it from more of a exploration to a
military.
So we found something. You need to be over here. Yeah.
Regarding, and then you test the water, and you have super high traces of gold in the water right there. It's like, where's it at? Where's it at?
But yeah, I'm the same way. Just the historical value of what will end up being a history rewrite.
Yeah,
everybody's
going to find an empty vault chamber with nothing in it. Then you just proved it was there, and somebody got it. But the whole road system,
right. Yeah, they'll. I think they'll find that one thing at some point in time that may not lead to the treasure, but it'll lead to a more of an unfolding.
Well, they've already last season historically predated the island to hundreds of years before there were any known people on that island. I mean, that was last season. There was no history of people on at this time frame, and you already found it. And in no way would you find wood 100 foot underground dated 600 years ago or whatever. It's coming back dated with where they cut it and put it. Wood just don't get that far underground on its own.
Yeah. Especially when
it's intact.
Especially when it's been numbered.
Right. And it's
for reassembly.
It's not rotten. It's intact. It is preserved. It is 100 foot underground. Why? Even with the Earth's settlement, wood isn't going to move 100 foot. Wood is normally going to sit on top of the ground and rot.
Yeah.
Oh, it bugs the fuck out of me, man. I'll watch it like a little kid. I'm like, y'all leave me alone. Nobody call me. Nobody text me. For 1 hour, I have my cigar in my hand and I'm into this shit. Nobody fuck with me. The wife's like, they ain't finding shit. I'm like, you better get out of here.
Yeah, when our niece lived with us, I got her watching it, and she started calling it Old Man Digging.
Yeah.
You gonna watch Old Man Digging tonight?
I'm like, don't fuck with me. I didn't run the Santa Claus thing for you and the kid. You better leave me alone. Oh, do you do Tulsa King? I need to start season 2. I haven't even started season 2 yet. I was waiting on them to get a few episodes out.
I watched the first few episodes of the first one.
Oh, it's so good,
and
man.
I don't remember why I stopped watching it.
That's what I'm saying. How could you stop?
Yeah.
Stallone was made for that role.
But then
Yellowstone comes back out next week, so I'll be on
tonight.
That. Oh, is it tonight? I thought it was next Sunday.
Tonight.
Oh fuck! Let's go.
No, I spent the weekend watching the first half of season 5, trying to get to that point of.
I can still remember what happened in there, but the one show I'm going to have to go back and rewatch is going to be Stranger Things, because it's been so fucking long since they filmed. I got to go back and do that again.
Yeah, I'm so. In fact, I was telling Amy this. I mean, it's like, it's been so long. You're going to have 30-year-olds walking around.
Yeah.
I said it's just kind of lost its luster a little bit, you know.
Well, that just means 11's even hotter now, though.
It's true. She is now an 11.
Because that girl is bad. Man, I watched them fucking corny Enola Holmes movies just because she's in them. Have you watched those yet?
I watched the first one.
Okay. They're good. The second one's even better, and now they're filming the third one. So
okay.
Her and Henry Cavill, man, I watch it. She's fine. Then we watched that one from the medieval age she did, the Netflix movie with the dragons and shit.
Yeah, I started watching it one night and then had to go do something.
Yeah, well, the only thing that will keep you in it is her. Other than that,
that's kind of what I heard, that it was just really middle of the road, not as spectacular as.
I think
they showed that one scene where they're on the ship and here comes this dragon.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh hell yeah, this is a movie, and then like, okay, well that was the only scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, you do see more dragon, but I think it was one of those more or less Netflix throwing a bone, because it was a Netflix movie. They go, hey, you're hot. You're in Stranger Things. Everybody loves you. We're going to give you a movie right now. It may not be
you're hot. You're ours.
Yeah. We're going to give you this. So I think that's what it was. Me, wife, and kid watched it, but even the wife was like, "Yeah," how it ended, and just the eh. But yeah, Stranger Things has been. I think it's going to be like 2 years.
2.5 years. Yeah.
When we dropped the first episode of the last season.
And a couple of them have gone on and done other things. And who is it?
She has, for sure. She's the one most prominent.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah,
I think. He's like 6'2" now, and so there's no way that you're going to be able to cover that up.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Remember Grease. You had 30-year-olds playing high school students. You just cast everybody the same age, and they all look the same.
That's all very true.
If they're all cast the same age, just like Tom Cruise movies, they cast everybody shorter than him to make him look tall. So,
hey, did you ever watch Orphan Origins?
Yes,
the prequel. And it's like, okay, now you've got a 40-year-old that you're trying to make look younger than.
Yeah, Grease was the first one that attempted that.
Yeah. I'm like, that movie just did not need to be made at all.
Well, rumors is we're getting spinoffs from Stranger Things too, though. They're doing an Eddie spinoff.
Yeah, he was one that
I liked him. Dustin is my
and
favorite character on Stranger Things.
he became everybody's favorite character.
Dustin
And
and Eddie, like the Funkos, like I don't collect any Stranger Thing Funkos unless it's Dustin or Eddie. That's the two I do. But yeah, Dustin from season 1 was always my favorite. I don't know. It was just something about him. I think he's more relatable to everybody.
yeah.
Just this nerd, just into this stuff. Had a girl. Nobody believed he had a girl. Hello, Amy.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, she's texting me, hey, can I come out and smoke a cigar and have some coffee?
Of course. We will not
Bring
talk
it.
about boobs no more right now. We'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
We won't talk about our sex lives or anything like that right now. There's a lady present. Yeah. We're PG now, guys.
We're PG.
Yeah, man, it's been a while, Deuce. I was like, what? I got to get Deuce in here. I meant to text you last weekend, and I got busy. I was like, I got to catch up with him. I know he's always down for a good live show. So,
Well, and again, being done with football season now, usually the weekends, I was recovering. I had ice packs and
right,
liniment and
that's some good
bubble
cardio
wrap.
for you, though.
Oh man, it was good. When I would wear my pedometer, I mean, that'd be a good game, 5 miles of running.
So it was Friday Night Lights, huh?
It was Friday Night Lights, yeah. I'm gonna do a post. I might do it today of a few of the pictures that I got. But there's also they sent me. I did one Friday night here, and it was televised.
Yeah,
And I got a good roll out of it. And so my district guy was sent it to me and sent in a nice close up of me getting rolled down the middle of the field.
that's funny.
Well,
My district manager is a SEC officiate, and every weekend he's flying around the country doing SEC games, and we've got a couple clips where he's got rolled by the big college players, and we always like mess with him about it. And he's a big old boy. I mean, he ain't out shape. I mean, he's cut. His brother is NFL legend Doug Williams, so I mean, he comes from a family of athletes, and he's like Doug Williams. He's cut. He's big. And we always pick at him about that. But yeah, every weekend he's flying somewhere doing an SEC game.
That SEC money's nice.
Oh yeah, free flights and a weekend away every weekend.
Yeah, I think I think like starting is like $4,000 a game.
And they got what, 4 or 5 refs and probably 2 reserves in case somebody gets hurt. I would think you got to have reserve refs there.
Yeah. If you ever really kind of watch, they've got all kinds of reserves on the sidelines. Yeah, the clock managers get in on some of that too. But I got a couple of guys that I officiate with that do Saturday games. Not that high ranked, but they've said that one of them got sent out to Coastal and said how much that he had made just going up the road. But on the big games when they send them out, they pay those expenses and
you're not out of pocket nothing, man. They put you on the road, they fly. So you can imagine. I mean, just shit, 12, 13 games a season at $4,000 a year. That's a fucking full-time job.
That's a full-time job. Yeah.
Get $50K a year and travel for free.
Yeah. And a lot of them will do multiple, different sports.
Yeah.
One of the guys that I'm with does wrestling and volleyball. So he fills in throughout that year and
then if they do a bowl game, man, that's probably more money. SEC championship, probably more money. Hell yeah. Well, let's get back to horror, man. I seen one of your buddies died this week. Candy Man.
Man.
69 years old. Was he sick? I didn't see what he died from.
They haven't announced what it was. So I'm interested to see Man, he was only 69.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, that's a good number to stop on.
It is. It is. Hey, if you die at 69, I mean,
definitely don't want to be 68 and a half. I definitely want to finish it out at 69 for sure.
well, I don't know. Do a 68, she owes you one, then you die.
Oh, unless you're owing her one, yeah.
You owe her one, yeah.
But it's normally the other way around. You got to give them the 68 and a half, and then they're going to give you that half minute finish you off.
Exactly. My 30 seconds of love. 30 seconds of love.
I gotta know, you big horror guy. Have you watched that trilogy, the X, the Pearl, and the Maxine?
I have.
Because I watched Maxine finally last night. I almost didn't watch it because I hated Pearl so much. Now, X, I loved X. That was classic. That was a horror slasher. That was a classic 80s movie, in my opinion. And then you fucking put out the prequel, Pearl, and I wasted an hour and a half of my life watching that shit. I guess it's good for what it was being a prequel, but I hated that damn movie.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite, and I was really hoping they would kind of pull things back a little bit with Maxine. I also was hoping Halsey would get naked, but she didn't.
No, but you can Google her. There's pictures out there. Well, Halsey didn't live long enough anyway, but I did enjoy Maxine. I will tell you, the way it tied to the end and the killer, the serial killer and everything. I did enjoy Maxine, but like I said, Pearl ruined me. I almost didn't even give it a shot.
I'd always, when people would ask me, what order, I'm like, you still got to watch X first.
X first, correct.
Because that makes Pearl worth the watch.
Right, because you would be totally lost if you watched Pearl first.
And you would kind of know what was coming too. But X, from that opening scene where they're shooting out of the barn.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so late 70s, early 80s. Toby Hopper.
Yes.
All those guys. This is a very, very well put together. Everybody dies of something else,
And you get to see Brittany Snow naked, guys.
Fucking alligator.
From the Pitch Perfect movies, you get to see Brittany Snow naked, and it's got Jenna Ortega,
that would surprise me.
Yeah, but Jenna Ortega, I can watch read the back of a cereal box in the morning. She is like my it thing right now.
Yeah.
Her as Wednesday dressed in all black, God, it just does something for me.
It just,
it is. It's like, okay, you're the new Wednesday from now on. The new Beetlejuice,
forever.
Not so much. The new Beetlejuice was not great, but it was nostalgic.
I'm ready to watch it again because I had so much hope for it that I think if I watch it the second time knowing it's not as great, that I'll enjoy it a little bit more. But even just some of the plot holes, if you're familiar with the first one and when they go to the sandworms, what 4 or 6 hours goes by in that 30 seconds he's with the sandworms.
Yeah.
And then they go to the sandworms, which means that her soul would have already been sold and all of that. And they're not gone for 6 or 8 hours.
I don't know. It's weird. I think the whole thing that hangs up about Beetlejuice, when it came out, we were younger. And in our minds, we thought Beetlejuice was a horror movie. But it's not. And when you rewatch it now, you're like, okay, this is kind of corny.
Yeah.
It's not what I remembered it being as a kid, because about 2 weeks prior, I watched the first Beetlejuice again because it's been probably 15, 20 years since I've seen it. And I'm like, this don't hold up. I don't, this ain't what I remember. So the new one, when I watch it, I go, yeah, Winona Ryder, not hot like she used to be. Jenna Ortega, super hot. And then your villain in the new Beetlejuice, she's been hot her whole life, and she's still hot.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
The thing about that was, they didn't go as deep as I was hoping they would. In the very first Beetlejuice, when he pulls out the ring for Lydia, he pulls it off that finger. Correct. Well, that's her finger, and I was wanting them to. I knew that, but I was wanting them to kind of open that up in the second one a little bit more, and at least show how she lost a finger or something, you know.
Well, it was almost like a whole standalone movie. You could literally watch, if you're new to Beetlejuice, you could watch this new one and not really need to know
And not
nothing
really need to know anything else. Yeah.
And I think that's what they were trying to capture, because there already talks about making another one now.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, where do you go with this from here? There's really nothing else you can do other than cashing in on Michael Keaton and Jenna Ortega fame right now, like Scream did, but now she's fired from Scream, or she quit from Scream, which I'm sad about. But I just don't know where else you can go from here.
That was my main issue with the second movie, is they had too many plots.
You had about 4 different open stories.
You had all these stories that are going on, and they did a pretty good job pulling it all together at the end.
Yeah,
but not good enough to say, oh, we want to do all of this. So I guess you could go off of any of those subplots to build from. But I mean, what's he going to do? They all going to live in the house, and he's going to be the good guy now.
Yeah, you can't do the subplot of the man that was using her and was going to marry her, because he's gone. So that's one subplot you can't do. Yeah, I guess you could, at this point now, Jenna Ortega can have experiences with a ghost, considering she can see ghosts now. Maybe it'd be more focused on her and kind of weed out Winona Ryder's character for the future. Maybe even kill her off, and it just be Jenna Ortega's show. I mean, I don't know. Interesting. It's kind of like the new Ghostbusters. Like I'm in love with the new Ghostbusters. The first remake at the end, where his ghost helps his granddaughter.
Yeah.
Dude, if you didn't cry during that scene, it ain't no way you lived through the 80s and 90s Ghostbuster life, man. That fucking hit. That scene where his ghost appears and helps him fight. But my only complaint with the new Ghostbusters is it's 2 hours of movie and 5 hours of killing the boss 5 minutes of killing the boss monster. I want to see more ghost fighting. Like, there's got to be more ghosts throughout. I mean, even the original Ghostbuster movies, they were fighting ghosts almost throughout the whole movie before the big enemy fight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
there's like nothing till the end.
The librarian is still one of the scariest things ever.
Yeah, the librarian scene, and then even the first Slimer scene where they blow up the whole courthouse trying to kill Slimer, but then you got all these dead people in the courthouse that's in there too. I mean, it's like, show us more ghosts. You got all the CGI abilities in the world, and that CGI from the 80s is kicking your ass.
It was beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Jeez, yeah, the horror gets me. I was disappointed with this Halloween, though, that it wasn't really a plethora of new horror movies out.
Coming out. I agree, but I think I wonder if a lot of that was movies are like, okay, with Beetlejuice coming back out, we don't stand a chance of making any money during that time.
No, because everybody our age is now taking our kids to see what we experienced as a kid. So that's the only good thing about these reboots, where you're reliving it. But yeah, I was disappointed. Like, I've loved the last 2 Screams that came out. I like that they're doing another one. I like that they've picked that up and they've actually made them watchable. The Michael Myers Halloween, I mean, the last 2 Halloweens were super good. I really, really enjoyed the last one. Just how they ended that movie and what they did. I just no spoilers.
Yeah, that was a cool way to end that, to say,
so you end Jamie Lee Curtis's story now. Now we can have reboots.
Yeah,
I'm super excited about the Peacock Friday the 13th prequel. The TV show that's coming out, Camp Crystal Lake. Have you seen anything on it?
I haven't. I have seen a couple of things on it. I'm very interested to see how they do with that.
That's my favorite horror franchise ever, Friday 13th. That's my
yeah. I hope they do. I hope they do at least some flashback of camps in the 70s and those horrible shorts we had to wear back then, all the nutters. And
well, I think it's going to be based in that time frame. So my only question, because they've been very vague on the details, it makes me wonder, okay, so is this prequel, is it going to be about Jason's mom working the camp? I mean, what is this prequel going to take us? Because you can't have a prequel without killing. So is this going to lead us up to Jason's drowning? Maybe, but then again, it's nothing to watch if there's because she didn't start killing to Jason drown. So when you're telling me this is a Friday the 13th prequel, we can't just have a campsite with people having sex. I mean, what's going to be the murders? What's going to be? Is this a backstory on the mom? But the mom was fine. The mom was sane until her son drowns because kids aren't watching. So what is this prequel going to give me to keep me not from being disappointed that you just butchered my favorite franchise ever?
Right.
What are we going to do?
Or does it start from that first time we get to see Jason when he jumps out of the water, and between it and the first time we actually see Jason start killing, what happened in that time?
That could be possible, or possible of Jason being at the camp constantly being mistreated by everybody. Maybe that's the build up, and then maybe like season 1 finale, Jason drowned. I mean, you got to build it up. It's God, because I'm like you, I could talk horror all day, and I actually broke one of my cardinal rules. Like I'm anti PG-13 horror movies. I hate them. To me, in my honest opinion, you can't do a horror movie and be PG-13. But
I think the only one that was ever done correctly was The Ring.
And
they pushed that one right up to the edge. But I thought it had great horror and still was able to get it under that R.
Well, I got another one for you because it changed my mind recently. I watched that new horror movie Tarot. Have you watched it yet? That for a PG-13 horror movie still gave you gore, gave you good kills. It was suspenseful. These kids were cursed for the tarot reading, and they were all being killed one by one. I enjoyed that. And after I watched it, I go, you know what? Maybe I need to revisit a couple PG-13 horror movies. This was a damn good movie. I don't know. Now,
my favorite part of that movie was whoever did the art on the tarot cards.
Yes.
That was some of the most beautiful art. And
the clowns, that one scene where the guy was being hunted down by the clowns, they did good on that makeup and the costumes for those clowns. But I was very impressed with that movie. Now, the one that I don't get, and the hype is crazy on this fucking movie, is the Terrifier. Like, I watched the first Terrifier, and I was bored out of my fucking mind. I hated it. Everybody is saying, oh, my God, you got to watch Terrifier 2. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to give it the time of day.
So, my son has told me the same thing, because I heard the same thing on Terrifier, that it really wasn't worth it. And then whatever they did in Terrifier 2 basically launched the franchise. Everybody's going back and watching 1. And
it set records for being an independent film in theaters making the money it made. But here's the thing. Terrifier 1, the whole fucking movie was him stalking down 2 girls. That was it. It was horrible. I've watched some independent films before that would be good, but I'm like, who would watch 2 after watching 1? And my kid knows all about it and won't watch horror because he sees clips on, so he knows more about 2 than I do. And I'm like, you go to Spirit's Halloween this year and it was Terrifier shit everywhere. And I'm like,
everywhere.
Why?
Yeah, still my favorite story with your kid is Momo.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Dude, that friend finally will come back over and stay now, but which they were I don't know. They were like 5 or 6. So the story about this chap, my kid had a sleepover, and my kid is a scaredy cat. Him and his mom will not watch horror, but my kid is a poser. He will pretend to know everything about the characters and all this because he'll watch periodic YouTube clips but won't watch a horror movie. So they were maybe 5 or 6. He had a sleepover with 3 kids at night. And back then, this YouTube sensation, Momo, with the scary face person. So about midnight, they decided they were going to get on YouTube and look at Momo videos. Well, needless to say, at 12 o'clock at night, this kid is calling his mom to come get him from the sleepover. So the mom comes to my house at midnight, not happy, and has to pick up her kid because he's scared shitless because of what they were watching on YouTube while we were all asleep. So that's the Momo incident, and we still call it the Momo incident.
And I will never forget it. That was the best.
Oh my god! Like my kid will come out right here right now. He's like, I've seen every kill from Terrifier 2 on YouTube. He follows this guy that his whole YouTube channel is like showing the kills from each movie. I'm like, well, do you want to watch the movie? Nah, Dad, I'm good. I've seen all the kills.
I've seen it all. I've seen it
I'm
all.
like, well, you didn't see the jump scares. You didn't see the suspense building up. I mean, a kill doesn't make the horror. The kill is the gore. The horror aspect is everything leading up to the slash.
Anticipation of death is worse than death itself.
Correct. And it's the cardinal rules that horror movies live by that are so funny. The virgin lives. Don't go upstairs. Don't run into the woods. I mean, it's so simple, but it's like everybody still abides by those rules. You can kind of know who's going to die or who's not going to die. I mean, to this day, what is it? LL Cool J is the only black guy to survive a horror movie. The shark movie or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, that was the best. Yeah.
And there's another good, and you probably watched it because you're the horror phenomenon. But Netflix has a trilogy. It's like Fear 1984.
1984. Yeah.
Dude, those are so good. And
Those
they all
were really
movies tie together.
And I think they're bringing back a second rendition of them.
Please.
I still think my favorite kill on all of that was in the store with the meat slicer.
Okay, yep. I just loved it, man. It was like
that was just one of them. You sat there and you went, okay.
the way they tied in 3 movies from different eras in time. I mean,
yeah,
it's just mind blowing how. Yeah, it's because a lot of times you drop the ball on second ones, like the new Pennywise, the part 2. I found to be horrible.
It was a little slower, but you know, again, it's one of those we build up so much because I mean, when that originally came out in 89 or 90,
yeah,
you know, I was 18 and I was still just horrified of clowns from, you know, movies earlier.
Well, like The Exorcist scared the shit out of all of us as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even see a picture of Linda Blair.
Yeah,
you know, until I was an adult.
Well,
and so my best friend who I used to do the haunted houses with, you know, he would be like, he would send me this text. Oh my God, you got to look at this hot chick. And when I'd click it, you know, it's her, you know, puking.
Or that tongue. Imagine what that tongue could do for you, man. I mean,
yeah.
That she would be the only girl you could say you made her head spin. I mean, literally.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, my problem with the second Pennywise was, to me, that movie may have been okay if that would have been the first movie, because most of your first movies, when you're reintroducing everything, it's a slow build-up.
Right.
So with Pennywise 2, you basically got all the kids coming back to town. The only you may have 1 or 2 kills early in the movie. And then it's just all this.
It slowed it down as they're trying to think through that
right.
process. And
then, bam, last 10 minutes of action and there's a fight. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, you could have cut an hour out of that movie easily and it'd be the same story.
Yeah.
That was my problem with it. And I was so disappointed because, I mean, that's the horror I like. And I mean, it's like now that there's also rumors of a Nightmare on Elm Street prequel that HBO Max is supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they don't drop the ball on anything.
Well, I mean, I don't know that remake a few years ago. You know, being a Nightmare purist, that mask was horrible. I mean,
oh, that wasn't a few years ago, man. That was a decade ago at least.
Was that a decade ago?
Oh, every bit of.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get Pizza Face out of my.
That was horrible. So what I did earlier last year, I went back and I watched every Friday the 13th in order, and then I watched every Nightmare on Elm Street in order. And as I finished Nightmare on Elm Street, I honestly scratched my head and I go, "These movies wasn't that good." I guess because I was younger. and I found them entertaining and funny. But to go back and watch every movie again, I'm like, okay, it's not as many kills as I remember. The story was horrible. Freddy's funny, of course, because that's Freddy's personality. But I'm like, okay, do not hold up the way Friday the 13th holds up. Because even the Friday the 13th remake we got 10, 15 years ago, I found it to be good. I liked it. But Nightmare on Elm Street, not so much. And then there's a Nightmare on Elm Street show on HBO Max right now, which is a true story where they're documenting murders that have happened on Elm Streets all across the United States.
I saw that. Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
I don't know, man. I just don't know. Nightmare on Elm Street did not hold up to me as an adult going back to rewatch it. Yeah, there were some pretty cool kills, but I'm like, these were not as good as I remember. Just not at all. But being a horror fan, you're always like, ooh, Jason, Freddy. But Freddy, I don't know. The movies just, they don't do it as a rewatch. Have you revisited them over the past few years?
I do, and I still think some of the nostalgia kind of carries. No, the scripts and stuff back in the 80s weren't that great, you know.
And Friday the 13th.
They started pushing a lot of stuff through, and you know, what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street 2, what everybody calls the gay movie. You know, that one just never stood for me. It's just like come on, man, this is too much. But you know, they bring Freddy back wholeheartedly in the third one, and he's funnier. Welcome to Prime Time, bitch, and you know, that was kind of the reboot for me. It's like, okay, Freddy's back. This is cool.
The way he toyed with them and joked with them and pull them in and out. I mean, that was entertaining part. But I don't know. I go back and I've rewatched the Sorority House Massacres, the Sleepaway Camps, and those are corny as fuck, but I love them. I love the traditional slasher movies. Hatchets, I love all the Hatchet movies. I mean, to me, Rob Zombie single-handedly brought Halloween back for everybody when he did his 2. And then they're like, oh, let's reboot the original Halloween. His movies were great. Rob Zombie's take on horror is always great. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. I mean, Rob Zombie brought Halloween back to the mainstream. That allowed these last 2 movies to come back and do so good. I don't know, but yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm over it now, man. I'm like, change my mind. Give me a reboot. Shit, bring Robert back. Let's do bring Robert back, original character, before he gets too old, before he dies, because he don't need a lot of film time. You can have 15, 20 minutes of time. I've seen rumblings it could happen, but I haven't seen confirmation.
I have seen that he and Heather Landekamp are very open to come back and do something.
Yes, let's do it. Jeepers Creepers, another good one, underrated.
Yeah.
I love Jeepers Creepers. I wasn't big on the Children of the Corn. I wasn't big on like the Omen.
I have to say the remake of Children of the Corn was another one that just didn't need to be made.
I didn't see that one. They're doing another scary movie. Finally, Wayans announced it the other day. Scary Movie 2 is one of the best movies ever.
Oh God, it's so hilarious.
My strong hand, child. That whole back and forth between the guy with the hand and the guy in the wheelchair is some of the funniest skits you ever need. Give me a standing ovation. And I'm going to clap. I mean, that's just my germs. I can never forget those two back and forth being the funniest shit ever.
Those are just hilarious movies.
Now, I definitely was very impressed with Nun and Nun 2. I don't do a lot of like ghost supernatural horror. I like more of the slasher, but the Nun and Nun 2, and then that last one Russell Crowe did.
The Pope's Exorcist?
Yes, that was a great show.
Hey, there's nothing better than watching fat Russell Crowe on a moped riding around Italy. If you don't watch the movie for anything but that, it's worth it.
Now, which one was that? The one where it was like the sequel to The Exorcist, where it was the same girl that was possessed? They brought the original character back. Which horror? I'm trying to think what horror movie that was recently I watched.
No, that was Exorcist New Beginnings or something.
Yes. That was good. I liked it.
But at the same time, I thought bringing Reagan back at the end
Just
and
to
her
get stabbed in the eye.
It's just like I don't need the cheesy tie-togethers.
Yeah.
So that brings me to this, because the big one lately has been The Omen.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 or 6 different movies about. One of them is Sydney Sweeney, where she's a nun.
Yes,
and she gets pregnant by the devil's baby, and then
her dressed as a nun. Let's go. Let's go.
And then there was one recently that's Apartment 7A.
We're bored. We're bored in the chat today with horror. Nobody's wanting to talk to us, but I'm having
probably not.
Well, it's all right. Well, I'm having fun.
It's the actual prequel to The Omen.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. When you said a room number,
no. It's Rosemary's Baby.
Okay, I've seen that.
Yeah.
But when you said a room number, my head automatically goes to one of my favorite actors, John Cusack, 1402.
1402. Yeah, that is an incredible movie. And when he's sitting there and he's figuring out that he's in this dreamlike state and he's going to lose his daughter again, and
dude, he is so underrated, man. That movie he did with Jack Black, where they owned the record studio and he always made the top 10 list, is one of my favorite damn movies ever.
High Fidelity.
Yeah.
Get your patchouli smelling ass out of our store.
This guy, him and David Duchovny, like David Duchovny's Showtime show, always Californication, one of my all-time favorite shows too, where he was the writer. He even wrote a book after that show as his character, Hank Moody. So he has a book out after the show that like his character wrote it. It's I loved it. Now another good new horror movie, and I'm sure you've seen it too, Deliverance. It was that haunted. It was a true story. It was that haunted house with the black family lived in it.
Yeah,
the kid got possessed.
Yes.
So I watched it, not knowing it was a true story until the end, where they actually show pictures of the land the house was on.
Yeah.
They give you the information. I had no idea that was a true story.
Yeah, there are several documentaries out there, and so what they tell you, there was a police officer, there was a social worker who saw this boy walk up the wall backwards. All completely documented.
That's fucking crazy.
And Zach Baggins, as much as I have a distaste for him, he did a 2 or 3 episode where they go in and they go in and investigate. And he turns around and offers them cash for the house.
Oh, shit.
And says no one should ever live here again. And then they raise it.
Yeah.
Because it was a house that it was up until just a few years ago was still standing there.
Well,
and
supposedly there was something under the house in the dirt. I mean, that it was like a bones or a body or something under the house that was, or this. I mean, the movie shows like a point under the house where it's like this fucking just something, and the evil's radiating from it. It's just
it was a when I was hoping they would stick just a little closer to the actual things.
Yeah.
But crazy story.
Yeah, and it made me appreciate the movie even more when I see the end. I was like, wait, fuck, this is real. Now I immediately
real. Yeah.
I immediately start Googling. I want to find out more. It's like, tell me more. I mean, it's like that's what gets me. And I normally, like I said, possession movies I like. It's more of the corny ghost shit. I don't like a lot of. Because to me, sometimes unless you do Ghost Ship is one of the most
I think it's terribly underrated for knowing it's the number one opening kill scene on
Oh,
every list.
100%. Even my wife don't like horror, but she watched as a kid Ghost Ship and she loves it. That opening scene will never be topped in a movie. It is so peaceful. Everything's going good. They're dancing. They're having a good time. And then wham. I mean,
yeah.
That scene will live in my mind forever as being so fucking well done.
I can't remember what. There was either a movie or a series that they redo that. And I want to say
that opening scene.
What? Yeah, it's in the middle of a movie, but it's on a bus full of school kids.
Oh shit!
The girl drops her pencil and she bends down to get the pencil, and the whole top of the bus gets taken off.
Oh shit!
And she's the only one. She's the only one left.
That's some Final Destination shit right there. You hear John Denver singing, you better fucking
when John Denver comes on,
it's over.
I don't think they should ever play that at a airport ever again.
No, that's like okay, you're done when you hear John Denver. I turn the radio off now if John Denver comes on. I'm like, nope. That ruined me.
But look, that brought us full circle. We're back to Tony Todd and his ideas on death.
That's crazy, man. It makes me regret. So it was either last year or the year before. Candyman was at one of our local Comic Cons, and I didn't get in line to meet him. Yeah, hopefully, man. I know I was Googling like when October hit because my employee, she loves horror too. So she's the only one I can really talk horror with. And we looked it up and there was supposed to be a lot of new horror movies hitting in October, but I didn't see any of them other than Beetlejuice, which isn't horror, come out. But I'm ready for some slashers, man. Give me some old school slashers.
Hey, did you watch Thanksgiving?
I loved it, dude. I loved it. Give me another one. Give me another one.
Yeah, I agree. There again, that old 80s slasher type thriller.
Dude, it's simplicity. It's a simple story. You're picking them off one by one, and they throw you for a loop. You may think you know who the killer is 3 different times in that movie, but you normally won't figure it out until right before they actually show you. It bounces around like Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, the cop. It's the cop. It's the cop.
Right.
They lead you down this path, and you got to always tell yourself, okay, if they're leading me here, he's not the one. But Thanksgiving is done so well. That is every bit of 80s slasher that it can be, because 80s was all about the slashers.
Yeah.
And then you had the Scream revive the slashers, but it isn't done that often no more. Everybody goes to the possession movies now. It seems to be the new thing. Everybody wants, it's nuns and it's priests and it's just
like I said, right now it seems like there's so many movies that are all about somebody getting impregnated by the devil's child and they're really playing around those areas, and it's like, okay, we get it.
It's the whole religious movement of horror.
I don't need all these prequels, before these movies come out.
Give me the slashers. Give me somebody that's dead that comes back alive and it's killing everybody. It's like the old cell phone horror movie. Just turn your phone off. Don't answer your phone. You got some phone calls killing people. Now the last Evil Dead movie, what was it? Evil Dead Rising. I kind of dug that one. That had some good gory scenes to it.
I liked the beginning and the end because the end ties a lot of stuff. I don't mind that they change it up. I think her name is Ashley or something. So you still get that Ash character. Will it make it to a second one with her as a full-time character?
I think it'll be a full reboot again. I'm hoping they'll bring Bruce Campbell back because I loved the TV show he did a couple years ago, the Ash versus Evil Dead.
That was hilarious.
I thought having that show in the mainstream, doing as well as it did, we got, I think, 3-4 seasons out of it. I'm like, this is the perfect time to bring Ash back in the movie.
Yeah.
Give Ash his own movie again. Good thing you got out of that sweater earlier, huh?
Oh, man, I'd have been dead. It got so warm so quick. I was going through all of our closets trying to find a little sweatshirt to put on, and wore it for like 5 minutes.
That's normally how I am when I've been doing my streams outside, because we've had some mornings it'd be in the 49, 50 degrees when it's time to kick my stream off. So I come out with a jacket on my shoulder. I walk outside and feel the humidity, and I'm like, no way. I'll leave it in the house and walk out. And shit, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing my stream with the fucking sitting next to the fireplace outside. I mean, it is the season in Louisiana.
Yeah.
You need a jacket for 1 hour, and then you need shorts for the rest of the day.
For the rest of the day, yeah.
So it's like just wear your shorts, commit, and in a couple hours you'll be fine. So
yeah, I wore shorts out here, and my legs and everything. I'm just I want to get some of that swamp ass that I used to get out of now in Louisiana, you know.
Well, thank you, George. You gave me a good cigar to smoke. Once I nub this thing, we'll call it a day. So we got about probably 10 more minutes, guys. We're gonna ramble on. I'm catching up with my old buddy Jimmy the Deuce. All you new barrel burners in here, take notice. This is Jimmy the Deuce. This guy's been a barrel burner since year one, man.
Yeah.
He's just been a little MIA lately. I knew I could get George talking again. George don't do horror, and we've been ramming horror, but he's
consistent.
He's here. My son's texting me. My text tone when my son texts me, it's Darth Vader saying, "I'm your father." So I just heard Darth Vader, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" But it's my kid, so let me make sure he's all right. Oh, he wants me to download mods on his Oculus. Yeah, so speaking of Darth Vader, I'll show y'all my new toys in here. I got 7-foot Darth Vader and Stormtrooper behind me. Look at that beauty.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Dude, they're animatronic. They're actually Home Depot exclusive decorations. They're holiday editions, so they have like I can change out Darth Vader's lightsaber and have a candy cane one, or he can hold a Death Star Halloween bucket, and the same thing with the Stormtroopers. He can have a candy cane in his hand, I'm sorry, the Stormtrooper has the Death Star bucket, and then Darth Vader has a Death Star pumpkin he holds for Halloween. And they're fully motion. You walk up and they talk in their voices and say like season's greetings, Death Star, and all this shit. But yeah, so that's my new full-size replicas in the man cave. I'm like, okay, these will be perfect whether I ever plug them up or not. They look badass on display.
They look pretty cool. Yeah.
So I need to get me some nice horror animatronics to go in here, and I'm good to go. So y'all got a pergola to build today, right? Or a gazebo?
Yeah, we're gonna put the lid on the gazebo and
What's
get
up,
it.
Brutus? I know Brutus likes some horror.
Get it ready for the change of weather and.
So, but you're not going to have sides on it. So, how's it going to protect you from the cold? What are you going to do? You're just basically to keep the rain off your hand?
Yeah, most of it's just to keep rain off and.
So y'all don't have a covered back porch right now. So this is going to be like your get out of the rain.
Yeah. So sometime we've already kind of measured it out. We kind of know what we want as far as building a little Carolina room out here and getting it covered up. But
I tell you what, you get with George, man. George just built him a nice. He had a back porch that he walled up, and he put him a little AC unit in it, and a little air purifier, and he actually screened it in. And
nice.
He's got a nice back porch to smoke on now that keeps him out of the weather. How big's your gazebo? What size do you go with?
12 by 12.
Okay. Yeah, just if you're sitting in the middle, just enough to keep blowing rain off of you.
Yeah.
I remember your last house, you had a nice covered area. You had little backdrops when we would go live, and that was a good sized little roof over your head there.
Yeah, and that really ruined us because the house that we were renting, it had like an 8 by 10 little slab out back.
Right.
and it just wasn't really good for anything.
Yeah. All right,
So,
Keith, have a good one, brother. Enjoy Florida today. Yeah, man. I remember we go over there after golf, and it was definitely nice. It didn't matter what the weather was; you wasn't getting wet under that one.
you weren't going to get wet, and fire pit.
Yeah, and a man has to have an outdoor space, man. A man's got to have an outdoor space to grill, cook, get out of the weather, get out of the elements. I mean, it's like you're not a man if you can't get outside, no matter what the weather is.
That's it.
I lose my mind. Like I sit outside daylight to dark when I'm home. The wife don't get it. She'll come out and be like, "It's too hot, too cold." I'm like, I can't sit in rooms. I just can't sit and look at the wall. I don't care what the weather is. I want to be outside. I don't know what George smoked today. He never said, Brutus. George didn't tell us. None of y'all told me what you're smoking today.
Yeah, when we were in Louisiana, we spent most of our time outside, had those French doors open, kind of come and go. And
yeah, spring and fall, you can open the doors of your house unless,
I
mean, most houses in the South, if y'all have ever noticed, the front door matches up with the back door. People would just open the doors and let the wind just through their house. It was a straight through, just breezy. So you got to put the roof on that thing today, huh?
Got to put the roof on it, and then kind of get it set. Then we'll be good to go.
Oh, Brutus, I want to try that new Ozinger Connecticut. Also, you Ozinger fans, the new pie synthesis is out. Came out last week. I got to grab those too. So did they give you a metal roof, or what kind of roof is it?
Yeah, it's a metal roof.
Okay. So that's kind of like the ones you see on display at Sam's sometimes.
Yeah.
Big, sturdy metal ones with the roof and everything. Hang you some little party lights under it, run you a cord, be good to go. They're very nice, man. Well, it's definitely good to catch up with you. I wish you wasn't so much of a stranger anymore. You don't pop in chats. You don't show us love. I know you're busy.
Well, the way we talk around here, when things slow down.
Yeah. We need to get us a weekly podcast going because we shoot the shit better than anybody else.
Nobody can shoot the shit like we can.
Right.
Have it in the evenings every now and then, so we can partake in some whiskey without ruining the whole day.
Right? Yeah, we might pop that. Well, like when I was doing the Barrel Burners podcast, the good thing is they're not live, so we can film them at any time.
Anytime,
an hour and a half, and then I do a premiere and I set them later. But I was thinking after I texted you last night, back in the day when I first bought this house, before this was a man cave, this was just an open garage with all my junk. I have one little corner with my PC set up so I could get out here and stream. But we got in that little kitchen area. It was fucking cold as fuck, and we had 2 space heaters going, and we had the backdrop, and we were doing the Barrel Burners live and the countdowns, and we were literally like sitting shoulder to shoulder because the room was so small. But dude, we were on that fucking that Breckenridge 110 proof. We wasn't feeling no pain.
I can't believe we bottle killed that at 110.
We would be stumbling up them stairs to get back in the house, man. Those were fun. We would fucking play golf all day, guys. Come here, tired as shit, open up some whiskey and go live for you guys. I look back in YouTube and I watched some of them old videos the other day. I'm like, dude, we were just fucking out of it. Fucking giggling. Our faces were red. We drank so much.
Yeah, and one of my favorites is I dropped something that one night and I bent over to get it and farted, and it didn't catch on the mics, but you and I just about fall out of the chairs laughing, and no one knows what's going on except us. And
yeah, it's like one of them inside jokes. You had to be there. Oh yeah, we had some good streams. We definitely had some good times, man. We did those. The St. Patrick's Day golf tournament was fun. We did, man. We had a ball for sure. I go back and read through Burner's history every now and then. I was like, this is some good shit, man. This.
I mean, basically, it led to me writing a book because my stories just got longer and longer and more in depth. And
it's hilarious though, because you would post photos in there that just tied to the story, and I was like, man, y'all got to experience the Burners History Channel for sure. This shit is hilarious.
I always tell everybody one of my favorites is that, what was it, the Royal Rumble or something. Anyway, we're at a
The wrestling event, yeah.
Somebody said one time, because that was a long story. I'm like, no, that was half of it. But there was this whole thing about us waking up in the jail, and the wife show up and they won't bail us out.
Dude, and they're all like a movie. Every one of them is based on true events. There's something in there that was somewhat true that led to that whole story, and that's what was funny about it. And the Winston Churchill one, and it's just, they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And even the book that I wrote and the one I'm working on now they're based off something that truly happened in life that gave me that idea.
That's what makes the best stories. You take
Yeah.
this idea or this event and you mold it. You got new characters and you spin off of that. But that's when the writing is the best, because it's off of an experience and normally you're passionate about, and then you can just fucking flow with that premise and you can just go. And that's what makes it the best for sure. Damn, George ain't smoked yet today. Woo! You are behind, man. You normally smoke when you're walking the dog. But I know you got to get shit done because you're going to Palooza this week. All you guys going to be hanging out in South Florida. And I'm going to be living through your pictures.
I'm going to be hanging in San Francisco next weekend, so pictures will be coming from Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see those on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's one of those must visits. I definitely want to do that. Man, my next big trip, I'm a big basketball fan. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. So my goal in life has always been to go to a basketball game in Boston, but we also want to do Salem and do all the witch stuff.
Absolutely.
So we're going to hopefully next October to November-ish, because I have to wait far enough out for the basketball schedule to release and the tickets to go on sale. So we want to go to Boston. Being the big history guy, I want to do all the museums, and wife loves the whole Salem vibe. We want to go there. It's just, I want to experience that. I wish I would have went to the original Boston Garden before it got tore down.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still there with history. Jimmy's shitting in the streets of San Francisco, George said. He might come back like in men. I mean, you never know in San Francisco.
You never know.
So what's bringing you to San Francisco? What do you want to see or do? Is it just
Amy goes out there every few years and speaks at a conference.
Okay.
And it moves around. But this year it's in San Francisco, so we're going to fly out. And when we've been there before, we've walked around and did everything. And like, what do you want to do this time? I'm like, why have we never gone to Alcatraz? So
stay off
I'm only going to be there a couple days, but we're going to do Alcatraz, and then.
So I'm assuming they do guided tours. They would have to. They don't let you just run around by yourself out there.
You know me though, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there could be possibly.
They'll probably leave you there in a cell.
A time, yes. Amy's planning on just leaving me there in one of the cells, and
didn't Al Capone have a cell there, or was that somewhere else?
Yeah.
So I've seen pictures of his cell. I've seen replicas that he had nice furniture and writing desks and all that. Like, definitely get me a picture of Al Capone's cell when y'all walk by it.
So I've got one from Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly.
Really?
So I'm interested to see, because it's one that still has his velour covered chairs and I'm talking about. Yeah. Antique stuff all in there. So I'm hoping that Alcatraz has the same, and maybe then I can put those two pictures up together.
I think in Tennessee we went to this it was a prison museum. And they had a lot of cop stuff and prison history, and they had a replica built of Capone's cell. They had the red velvet, they had the writing desk, they had his bed, showing that if you have money, you can live comfortably in jail.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is still. I mean, what was that? nearly
They
100
probably
years.
left his cell unlocked and he could walk around ever how he wanted. He
Yeah.
wasn't no prisoner.
No.
He just couldn't go off the grounds. But I guarantee you he walked around, did what he wanted to do in there. He still ran his business from prison.
Oh yeah, and it's so obvious just by the luxury that you see in that cell. It's just jaw dropping. It's like, hey, you could still move into it right now.
Yeah.
And live happily.
Yeah, that's awesome though. Alcatraz, check that off the bucket list. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Only 2 people ever escaped. Were never to be seen again.
3.
Oh yeah, the 3rd.
Yeah, the brothers and the one guy. They all went together. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a crazy story too.
Yeah.
Some say they died in the water. Nah.
No. I think
they're hanging with D.D. Cooper somewhere.
There was a good History Channel special on them a few years ago, and they gave some insight to the family and how every year the mom would get flowers on her birthday from 2 guys she didn't know.
Yeah.
And then they find this picture that looks just like them down in Central America farming.
Oh.
And they're like, they made it.
Back then, you didn't have a way to track people like you have now. If they could get away from you, you'd never find them again. It was so easy to fake a name. You didn't need all the documentation you need now. So that Prison Break show, did you ever watch it that Morgan Freeman narrated on the History Channel?
You know, I haven't.
Dude, they did those guys. They did they did one here in Louisiana that we had several years ago. But they also did the El Chapo. They showed the tunnel systems.
Oh, yeah.
They tunneled him out and how it all happened. It was crazy how they could pinpoint. Like the Chapo, they snuck in like a GPS tracking system in a shoe. They gave it to him. He dropped it in his shower drain. And those guys like 5 miles out were able to tunnel straight to his drain, bust the floor out and get him out. And they walk through the tunnels and show you just how massive this was. And they did it in just a few weeks' time.
That's crazy.
Get him out of here. Yeah, the way they could do that is just crazy. But yeah, you got to go back and revisit.
I need to go back and watch those. Yeah.
I only watched it. I got hooked on it because it would come on right after Oak Island. I was already watching it and I was like, ooh, I got to watch this. So. All right, Jimmy, I know you got shit to do, man. We know this. Thank you, guys. I'll be back next Sunday, as always, as long as I'm alive and well. And you never know. There may be more coming in the future for me and Jimmy if I can talk him into it. But
I'm all about it. Let's talk about it and hook it up.
Yeah, and you can just stay put a minute, James, and I'll end this and get out of here. All right, burners, we'll see you in chat. You never know. Deuce may drop by one day and drop a hey, fuck you.
Drop a deuce.
He may even drop a fucking history lesson for you new guys. You never know. All right, guys, have a good one. We're out, brother.